Did you know that there's a town in Montana that's so isolated that in the wintertime there's only one way out, and that's through a different state? This week we're going to take you to Cooke City, Montana, check out the town, and then afterwards we're going to drive over the Beartooth Pass back down into Red Lodge. The Beartooth Highway is known as one of the most beautiful drives in America, and it ranks right up there with the Going to the Sun Road. Let's go check it out. All right, so I climbed all the way up this mountain to give you a better view of Montana. So the least you can do is subscribe to our channel. And when you do, don't forget to hit the little bell, and you'll be notified every time we make a new video about Montana. So on our way to Cooke City and Beartooth Pass, we went across the northern part of Yellowstone Park, and as you get to the east towards Cooke City, you get into the Lamar Valley, which the Lamar River runs through, and it's a big wide valley, as you can see. But the highlight of this is the amount of buffalo that were over here. This valley has the largest herd of wild buffalo and elk in the country. As we went through this valley, we didn't see any elk, but we saw tons and tons of buffalo, and it was kind of an incredible spot, and I've never seen this many, wild buffalo anywhere, even in the other parts of Yellowstone that we drove through. So if you're looking to see buffalo, this is definitely the spot. I'm sure there's never going to be a time where you don't see any over here in this valley, and it's just a beautiful part. This is kind of a part of Yellowstone that a lot of people don't go to because they're all hung up on Old Faithful and the geysers and Yellowstone Lake and all of that, which is back to the west and south of here. But this is definitely a nice part of Yellowstone, and you kind of get away from a lot of the traffic over here as well, which is a bonus. So as you come out of this valley, you come into the little town of Cooke City, and Cooke City is probably one of the most remote towns in Montana. And I say remote because in the wintertime, you can't go east from here because it takes you over Beartooth Pass that I'll show you here in a little bit. And to get back to, if you want to call it civilization, you can look at the map here. You have to go west 55 miles back to Gardner. So you go back down through Wyoming, through Yellowstone, and then back north up into Gardner. And in fact, any kids that live here in Cooke City, they have an elementary school, but once they get into high school, they have to go all the way back up to Gardner to go to high school. So that's 100 miles, over 100 miles a day back and forth if you live here. So when we were here, we stopped in at a couple places and talked to a few of the locals that were working at these places, and it sounds like there's only about 100 people that were here in the summer. And she said, the one gal said in the wintertime, it drops down to less than half of that just because it's so tough to get in and out of here. There are a lot of snowmobile outfitters and guides for, winter recreation here. So a lot of people do come here to ride their snowmobiles in the winter, but other than that, there's just not a lot happening in Cooke City in the winter. This is also known as the snowiest spot in Montana. They get tons of snow. They're at an elevation of over 7,500 feet, so they get snow. I mean, you could see snow here pretty much any month of the year. Obviously, they get the majority of their snow is from October to the beginning of May, into May sometimes. So like I said, if you're here any time of year, you may see some snow. So that's what keeps a lot of people out of here. Normally when we go through these towns, I talk about the real estate and what's available. Well, right now there's only one thing that I found for sale, and it's a resort a couple miles out of town. It's listed for $1.6 million. And it's got a bunch of cabins and some RV hookups. But once again, it's going to take a special kind of person to want to live here year round. I mean, if you're trying to get away from it all and, enjoy the outdoors, this is definitely your spot. But you better be ready for winter because you're kind of stuck here a lot of the times, and the winters can get pretty brutal down here in this part of the state. And speaking of brutal winters, as we spoke about earlier, if you head east out of Cooke City, you go on the Beartooth Highway and over the Beartooth Pass, which is closed all winter long. The Beartooth Highway is one of the most beautiful roads in America, and it ranks right up there with going to the Sun Road that I've done a video on, and I'll leave at the end of this video, that goes through the middle of Glacier National Park. This particular highway, this was the first time I had been on it, and it's just spectacular. It's so high, you get up over the tree line at the top, and at the pass that's on the Wyoming side, it's 10,948 feet, and once you cross over into Montana, it's a little bit lower, but the highest spot in Montana on this highway is 10,350 feet. So if you're trying to get to Red Lodge in the summer from Cooke City, it's 68 miles up and over this pass. But like I said, in the winter time, if you want to get to Red Lodge, it's actually 229 miles. This just shows you how remote and how out of the way Cooke City really is from the rest of civilization, especially in the winter time. So for the rest of this video, I'm just going to let it run just so you can get an idea of the views and this drive. It's pretty incredible. And if you're not a fan of heights, this may not be the road for you, especially as we head down into Red Lodge, but I encourage you to stick around and check it out.
Thank you for watching our video. Please call, text, or email for more information, and don't forget to watch our other videos about Montana.